Across the UK, online and on DAB.
A new kind of talk radio. We'll get you talking. Talk Radio.
Thank you, Jake. Evening. Strong vibe tonight. It's going to be a busy show. We will play the Jimmy Tarbuck interview later on. And those of you who stuck around for the end of last night's show, boy oh boy, wasn't that disturbing. We thought we'd get a guest on to talk about what happened in the last 30 minutes of last night. I'll explain all after the news.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. That's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on.
So, if you stuck around for the last 30 minutes of last night's show, boy oh boy, didn't that take a bizarre turn. We were all set to play the Jimmy Tarbuck interview. We had minutes to spare, about 3 minutes before I had to start the Tarbuck interview. And a caller flashed up on the screen. That it was an unknown caller. Okay, well, the way this system works is if you've called in before, your name will be stored in the system. But it was a new number. And so I said to Kath, quickly, we've got 3 minutes, just get this caller straight on. Let's see what they've got to say for themselves. And it'd been quite an upbeat show. I mean, there was that man David, talking about his dad and his friend passing. But all in all, it was quite an upbeat show last night. So I thought it would be more knockabout, throwaway, phone-in fun. And instead, it was, and I don't say this for exaggeration, it was the most harrowing phone call I have ever taken in the 15 years, whatever it is I've been doing radio. It was a guy who wanted to talk about being a stalker. First few seconds I thought it was a gag in inverted commas. Quite quickly I realised it wasn't a gag and that he was genuine. But for quite a while I assumed he was talking about something that had happened in the dim and distant past, and he wanted to share with us, how he managed to stop this behaviour. It took a few minutes for the penny to drop that this wasn't in the dim and distant past. This was actually an ongoing situation. If you missed it, we put it out as a podcast, and Kath and I talked about this a lot. We weren't going to. It certainly wasn't going to be in the best bits. But we did think, look, it's out there, it happened. People heard it. It's on the Listen Again feature. So we have put it out as a podcast, but with a warning. And I really, I don't recommend you play it to children. And if you are triggered by, the frank conversations about stalking and also sexual violence, probably don't listen to it. But we kind of thought it was, important to put it out. If you missed it, the gentleman wouldn't give us his real name. He used the name Thomas. Have a listen to this. This is a little clip from last night.
No, we lived on the same street.
Right. And did she express any interest in you?
When we were kids, we were just friends playing out.
Yeah.
But when I went into secondary school, because of my condition, it affected me because I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a bit obsessive with her.
Yeah.
And then it affected me. It affected it in the future because I did bad things to her. And shit. But when I got older, I started contacting her. Then she got the police.
Right. Did the police charge you with stalking or charge you with anything?
It was a caution.
Right, got a caution. Okay. So that means that they think you did something bad. You said you did bad things to her. What does that mean?
Well, on the computer, I broke into her account and started harassing her. Yeah. But when I listen to music, I daydream about her.
Mate, you need to get help, Thomas.
Yeah. But this was a few years ago.
Right, okay, and yet you're still thinking about her.
Yeah, but
Did you ever hang on a second, did you ever physically hurt her?
Never.
Right.
Just on the computer.
Okay, but that is still, you know, that is still vicious. That's still a vicious attack to threaten people.
I threatened to rape her.
Jesus, Thomas, man, why did you think that was? Why did you think that was a good idea?
Because she was ignoring me, and I wanted to find her to get her attention.
God, that's uncomfortable listening. I've not listened to that back. I've never heard such a genuine reaction as my Jesus then, when he said that. I mean, that was it totally threw me for six. I didn't know how to continue. I perceived that Thomas, I could see where he was calling from. I perceived that Thomas was still posed a threat to that young lady and her two children. And I don't want to, we know a little bit more about her, but I don't want to, you know. So I made the decision that I've never ever made before, and I really hope I never have to make again. And I've spoken to villains, I've spoken to crooks, I've spoken to all kinds of dodgepots, right? But I've never had to make this call, and the call I made, and Catherine, my producer, backed me up, the call I made was, we both perceived he was a threat, as he'd been in touch with her, I think 3 months ago. And so we made the decision to get in touch with the police, and we did. And then Thomas was, anyway, he was begging us not to, and we did. And I'll tell you what happened. But it really upset me. It really upset me as a host, because I felt out of my depth. It upset me as a human being. It upset me as a dad and as a man and as a son, and all. It upset me as a person a lot. And terrible night's sleep thing. I know it upset a lot of you as well, because I know some of you, some of my listeners and some of my followers and have had similar experiences of being made to feel afraid by someone else's interest, affection. I use affection in inverted commas. And I just said to Kath today, Kath, we need to get someone on. We need to get someone on the show. We need to kick off this show tonight with someone who can explain what it's like for the person who is being stalked, for the person who is receiving unwanted attention, for the person who is being threatened with rape. Man or woman. You know, primarily it's men towards women, I know, but it can happen man on man or women on, I know, but... and Kath came back pretty quickly and said, I found someone. I found someone brilliant. A woman called Eve Thomas. And I'm so thrilled that Eve joins me on the line now. Evening, Eve.
Good evening, Iain. Can I just start by saying I do hope that you're okay. You've been exposed to something quite sinister, insidious and dark here. And I do hope that you've got some support, and Catherine too, you know, and anybody else that listens to that, because it was traumatic to listen to. Mate,
in 15 years of doing this, and I've spoken to all kinds of people, you could hear my shock there when he was telling me. Eve, just give us a little bit of your background, if you don't mind. And again, I always say this, I know this is a sensitive issue, and I know you're cool with talking about it, but if I ask you anything that's inappropriate, then, tell me to mind my own, and we'll move on, and, I won't think any less of you. But give us a bit of your background, Eve.
Basically, I worked in education, social services and mental health. I was also a victim of domestic violence, which I escaped and fled in 2010. Since that time, I have been a victim of stalking. It's resulted in multiple restraining orders, non-molestation orders. When it became too much was, of course, when any victim breaks the silence, perpetrators don't like that because as a victim you're taking back control and you're beginning that journey to become a survivor. And it becomes a struggle and a fight for control. And I can't put it any different than that. It followed me online. Since that time, my abusers have engaged with exceedingly vulnerable people online, people that are at risk, some in mental health crisis, some that need access to services, and they've created a hell of a mess online. You only have to Google my name to see the extent of that. Now, it's been subject to police investigation, it's been subject to upheld IPCC reports, and it is still subject to investigation. So that's about as much as I can say about that, because I don't want to jeopardise. I've got to the stage where it's been exceedingly frustrating talking to numerous police officers from around the country. My own force, Greater Manchester Police, totally got this, totally got it, totally joined the dots up. I was very lucky. I'm lucky to work with some amazing professionals, former police officers, barristers, therapists, people who have supported me through that, because support is crucial. And I do need to give you the National Stalking Helpline. If I
give it to me now, and I'm going to write it down, and then remind me at the end, and we'll give it out again. Go on.
Of course. So it's the National Stalking Helpline. It's run by the Susie Lamplugh Trust, and the number is 0808
0808
802
802
0300. And they also have a website, which is susielamplugh.org, and there is tons, and I mean tons of information on there.
We'll give out the number again before we say goodbye. We'll give out the number again so people have got time to go get pen and paper. Here's the thing, Eve. What constitutes stalking?
That's such a difficult question.
Yeah, I know.
It really is. It's really hard to give an absolute bob-on response to what is stalking. What I would say is stalking is anything that causes fear or distress.
Yeah.
And, you've got harassment where somebody is, constantly harassing somebody, but stalking takes on, both are insidious. They can happen to anybody, at any time, any place. Anybody can be a stalker. Anybody can be an abuser. Come from all single walks of life, from highly professional people to unemployed people, anybody. And, anonymity, I have real difficulty saying that word.
I noticed. It's a tough one.
Yeah. It gives these people a power, and we need to really do something very, very drastic. And government needs to get some resources into online detectives so that we can do this. We need a digital law updating. It needs dragging into 2017 because the police are struggling. We have new stalking laws introduced, and the training was drip-fed. So, victims are getting this all clear on social media and everything else. Yes, stalking is now an offence. They report it to the police and they get lost in that wilderness of the criminal justice system. And that criminal justice system is frightening. It's frightening for victims.
And I know you've listened to the conversation I had last night with Thomas. What was interesting, right, is I admired his honesty, right? I'm trying to tread as carefully. I was impressed with his honesty, but the fact that he seemed to find very little. If he could just have a conversation with that woman, she would realise that she was meant to be with him. That seemed to me to be the thread. And it's and I was shouting at him. It's such a huge delusion that no amount of logic or fact, or if the person who is being stalked says, go away, I don't want you in my life, well, that gets messed up in their head and becomes a come on, doesn't it?
It does. It's a fixation. He obviously believed that he believes that he has some sort of right to a relationship with this woman who has clearly stated she wants nothing to do with him. She's engaged with the police. She's reported him. What I would say is strong words. The police gave strong words and a caution. I'm very sorry, but, if everything that Thomas is saying is right, this is a man that needs a full psychiatric assessment and he needs dealing with properly by the law. This is a man that, stalking, but he's also brought a very sexual, predatory dynamic into this. He's also brought the children into this. I mean, I hope the police are really taking this seriously. I hope they're ensuring that this victim and the children are safe. They need to risk assess the absolute death out of this.
Shall I tell you what happened with the police yesterday?
Yes, please.
You may know this already. So we made the decision. I've never made this. I've done thousands of hours of this, and I've never made that decision before. And when we made the decision after the show, about 1:15, Catherine went and she called the police. And she, first of all, she phoned up the police in the city that gentleman lived in, because we imagined that they would be the ones who had cautioned him. And they said, "Oh no, you have to phone the Metropolitan Police." We said, "Why?" We said, "That's because that's where you are." Mm-hmm. And Kath said, well, no, but he's been cautioned by you, we think. No, you've got to phone the police where you are. OK. So about 1:20 in the morning, Catherine phones the police up in London and they said, OK, what we'll do is we will send some officers round to talk to you within an hour. In 60 minutes, we will have sent a couple of coppers round to talk to you. And she said, well, I mean, can't we do it on the phone? And I've got a recording of what was said. Can we just email that? No. Someone will come round. Okay, 1:20. 2:30, I said, why don't you give them another quick call? Because no one's turned up. So she phoned up and they said, oh, no, it doesn't say in my notes anyone was going to come round. I think you've been given wrong information. And we kept saying, we've got a recording of this man who was obviously troubled, and we genuinely think that the woman he is referring to is in danger. No one's asked for that recording. Have they, Kath? No one has asked for that recording.
It's quite, I'll be honest with you, it's quite unbelievable.
Isn't it?
I have consulted with both the directors of the Safe Protection Service today, my gaffers, Jackie and Harry. Now, Jackie is a former sergeant at Greater Manchester Police. Harry is a former detective superintendent, and he headed up his professional standards department. He does some work for the IPCC and things. They are two former police officers that I highly respect. I've also spoke to other officers and asked them what they would do with this, and they've said yes, it does need taking seriously. I mean, what we said first of all is find out, is this a crank call? Does Thomas really exist, and is he telling the truth? You've ascertained and you've validated from the intel that you had and the evidence. The police have ascertained that, yes, there is a real victim here. Yeah. This needs to be dealt with quite urgently. Those children, this is a child protection issue now. This is not just a stalking and person at risk situation. This is a child protection issue. This is a man who has, voiced that he's threatened her with rape. He's mentioned children. He's turned up at the house. Former, boyfriends threatened to kick the crap out of him, as Thomas said, when he turned up at the house. And being honest, I understand the police are really under-resourced. That's right back at government. We need 24,000 more police officers back, please, on our streets. That would make members of the public feel a hell of a lot safer. I'm sure it'd make a lot of people feel a lot safer. The cuts to the police service, have drastically affected victims, drastically affected risk and safeguarding in this country. And, we need to start pulling our socks up because it's not good enough.
For the hour and a half that me and Kath were here, and, you know, we were both kind of in shock after the call. I had quite a few communications on Twitter from women, and I had a few DMs from various different women. I'm not going to mention any names, but who had been stalked. And I was having a really interesting conversation with one woman, and she gave me some stats, and I have no reason to doubt this person. I'm sure she's researched this. She says, give me three the stats that this person gave me. Women don't typically report stalking until the 100th incident. Only 1% of reports end in prosecution. And she says something ridiculous like 70% of murdered women report having been stalked.
Right, I can't confirm those figures, obviously. I don't know the source or anything like that.
No.
What I will say is 76% of women murdered by their former partner, and sadly these figures, there's nothing there for male victims, so that, we can see that. But what we do know is 76%, and this is Susie Lamplugh, this is the National Stalking, agency in the country. We know 76% of women who are murdered by their former partner, and one woman is murdered every 3 days. Wow. Were stalked in the lead up to their death. We only have to look at little Mary Shipston last year. Hunted down, stalked by her father. The ultimate revenge for mum, to shoot dead. Little Mary, he was 7 years old. We need to be doing better. We need to be protecting victims. We need to be safeguarding a lot better. And we need, a safe protection service in this country to be doing that, to be the glue of the criminal justice system, so we can tame it. Because it's wild out there.
I'm really angry about the way that the police haven't phoned me to talk. Did you give a statement in the end, Kath? She's given a statement now. They haven't phoned me to talk. They've not asked for the audio. Have they taken the phone number of the person? They've got the phone number. Okay, so hopefully stuff is going on. But what can people do, Eve, if they are being stalked? I guess the police, we've obviously got the National Stalking Helpline, and we'll give that number out. A lot of people say, well, just get off Twitter. Just get off Facebook. Just close your Twitter. Don't go on Twitter and don't go on Facebook if people are bothering you there. But, why should they give up, what is their freedom to express themselves digitally? But also that won't do it, will it? That's not going to stop someone. If someone, if I'm in love with you, Eve, and I know that you're meant to be with me, but you've just not realised it yet, not being able to contact you on Twitter isn't going to stop that consuming passion.
It's it's the fixation. Like I say, I mean, this is something that needs, deep psychological and psychiatric assessment. What I need to really, really say is, because, perpetrator programs, stalker perpetrator programs, do not put them on DV perpetrator programs. That reinforces the fact that there could be a relationship there.
Say that again. What was that?
Stalkers treatment programs.
Right,
what
okay.
I would say is it is absolutely critical to safeguard that we're not putting stalkers on domestic violence perpetrator programs,
right? Because
it reinforces the fact, or can reinforce the fact, that there is a relationship there, that person has some form of relationship.
Oh, so if they go on a domestic violence thing, that somehow in their crazy thinking makes them think that actually they do have a relationship, and they just need to.
You're talking about an obsessed, fixated person here that is intense, no matter what. And I mean, Thomas, he's been cautioned by the police. He's had strong words off the police. He's not stopping.
It's not.
He says he listens to music and he dreams about her.
Yeah.
He is obsessed and he's fixated. And this, the stark reality here, Ian, is this could be a countdown to this woman's murder.
I know.
This could be a countdown to those children's murder.
Oh, Eve, this is what was going through my mind last night.
I bet it was. And Ian, big, really, really big respect for you, because I don't think, and I'm going to speak to some, journalist friends of mine, media friends of mine, I don't think a lot of presenters would have known how to deal with that. But you secured the evidence. I mean, yeah, it's recorded anyway. But you've contacted the police. You've seen that risk. You saw those red flags. So absolute kudos and respect.
I was really worried that I'd made a terrible judgment it took me a while for the penny to drop exactly what was going on, and I spent a lot of last night thinking I should have cut him off as soon as I realised. But again, I had a couple of people get in touch and say, actually, you know, if that were to go any further, then the young lady in question, she could use that phone call as evidence. You know, you've got that recording that would benefit her in court.
Absolutely. I mean, again, speaking to the gaffers and my colleagues this afternoon, you know, we've talked about, would it have been best for you to say, can we speak offline? You know, Thomas, let's speak offline. Now, did he want the kudos of being on air? Did that inflate his ego? You know, did that give him some sort of power, control? Yeah, of course it was, because you know, listened. The nation's listening. I mean, I'm hoping that, you know, this gets out there and there's a lot of, you know, awareness raising of this. Can we talk about what to do, Iain, please? You know, I know it's your programme.
No, go,
it's really important to talk about what to do.
Yes, I agree.
If you are being stalked, you know. Right, the best thing to do is, if you're feeling fear and distress, if somebody's stalking you, and you know, you've told this person you don't want any contact with them, there's no relationship there, then you need to report it. You need to be keeping logs, really, really robust logs. Don't trust anybody else to keep evidence. Make sure you secure the evidence, make a note of it, date, time. Keep a chronological timeline. You know, what I'll do is I'll write a blog tomorrow and we'll get a blog out there on this.
Brilliant, do, and send it to me and we'll tweet it. I
will
Facebook
do, yeah. But if you go on the Paladin website, that's another absolutely fabulous website.
Now what is this? Because again, this was tweeted to me last night. Paladin, who are Paladin?
Right, Paladin is the absolutely fantastic Laura Richards. She's amazing, absolutely amazing. She was one of the campaigners behind the stalking legislation. She knows her stuff, she really does. And she set up Paladin, which help, you know, victims every day. They can't help a lot of victims, you know, they're really struggling themselves, as everybody is for funding, but it's a vitally important service. And again, you know, Paladin services, the National Stalking Helpline, the domestic violence helpline. You know, if you're a domestic violence victim that's being stalked, it's important to, you know, make sure that you've got lots of support. And like I say, keep logs, report to the police, 101, unless it's an emergency, and then it's 999 all the way. Keep engaged with the police. Yes, it's hard work. Engage with professionals. You know, if professionals aren't managing your risk, ask them why they're not managing your risk. Ask them what they're doing about it. They're to protect life and keep safe, and that's what, you know, we're supposed to be doing. It's insidious, it's life invading, it's 24/7 when it's cyber stalking. I mean, you know, Thomas said that he broke into her computer, you know, he hacked into his computer, and that's because she was ignoring him. So no matter how many pathways, you know, he will find another pathway to offend, to stalk, to reach his victim, because he needs to, you know, he claims he's known her since being a young child. We don't know what's happened to trigger this obsession, but he does need dealing with. And, you know, if you're being stalked, please report it. The police are getting better. Training is out there. It's getting out there. Yeah, we all can do better, but, you know, trust the criminal justice system. I know it's wild, but it's better than being stalked. It's better than putting yourself at risk.
And I'd imagine
making to murder.
As I say, I imagine making contact with the police as soon as you can, so that is you know, you can say, well, I called the police on the 29th of March, and you know, so that is logged. That is logged that you've made contact with them. Yeah,
and you know, another thing that some victims have problems with, you know, like what might look like an innocent bouquet of flowers, what might look like an innocent message. When the dots are all joined, the bigger picture's formed, you can see the insidious behaviour, that fixation so well. And that's why I'm, flagging up Laura Richards here, because this is her speciality. As is, my colleagues with stalking. It's become far worse. What bullying that used to happen in school has now led to stalking, has now led to cyber stalking. It's invading our digital lives. You read something online and you think, is that the truth? Because you just don't know anymore. And social media platforms can do an awful lot. Twitter, I've spoken to so many police officers regarding the online crimes that I've seen, observed, reported. And the police have all come back, and this is 7 different forces and an operation. Twitter will not cooperate.
Oh,
why?
Eve, I say this, but my listeners will be bored of this. I've had people threatening to kill my kids on Twitter. And Twitter, you report it to Twitter, they go, well, it's not contravening our rules. Okay, guys, thanks very much.
So what does contravene rules, for heaven's sake? I'm all for free speech, but don't accuse to abuse. If you've got a crime to report it to the police. If you've got nothing better to do than sit on social media and harass and stalk somebody and just wait to pounce all day, then you need to go and seek help.
Eve, can I ask you a question that is weird, and it might sound insensitive, right? And I don't know what my thought is on this. You heard the call last night with Thomas. Have you got any sympathy for him at all?
No, not at all.
Really? Go on.
Not one little bit.
Go on.
Not one little bit. And when he said he was he was humiliated. And, he was frightened of the police. And you said, good. He needs to be frightened of the police. Evidently, he's not frightened enough of the police because he's continuing to reoffend. Stalking legislation, there's been, the sentencing's been looked at. It needs to be dealt with severely. It's a severe crime. It's an insidious crime that destroys lives.
It was for a long time the word, you've got a stalker. It was a little bit of a kind of light joke,
romantic.
Exactly. You've got a box of chocolates on the desk. Oh, you got a stalker. The more I learn about it, the more I had some amazing private conversations on Twitter. Incredible stuff was revealed to me from women who, and it is primarily women, but women who have, had people rock up in their house. It's awful. And I just pray that young lady that he was talking, and listen, who knows? That guy may have been a prank call. Me and Kath, our sensors are pretty darn good, and we're like 99.9% certain he was genuine. We're pretty good at sniffing it.
The thing is, what the police need to be doing is treating it as seriously.
Yes.
Security, they've got his phone number. They can secure his intel really, really well. They'll know whether he's a crank or not. What I will say is, if he is a crank, he still needs help.
Yeah.
Because who in the right mind, phones a radio show and sits there creaking on a bed.
Yeah.
And talking about things like this. Whoever Thomas is, Thomas needs help, and Thomas needs to secure help quickly. He needs to go and see his GP.
That poor woman and her poor kids and her poor partner.
I know. And victims who have children, it affects family and children. I can't even begin to tell you how much it affects family and children. It's, and sometimes it flows over to children, and stalkers will start attacking children. It's anything to destroy their victim. At the end of the day, and like I say, they just become a power fight, a control fight almost, and the victim's fight is the fight to keep their head above water, and the fight, sometimes to stay alive.
Eve, listen, you've got an open invitation. Anytime you want to come on the show and have a chat, you'd be more than welcome. If you get that blog written, we'll tweet that. If people want to follow you, it's at Eve Thomas Safe. SAFE. Any other websites or links that you think you want to give out? And we've got the number for the stalking helpline as well.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is I'll send some over by email to Catherine. Beautiful. And I'll also ensure that they're on my Twitter timeline as well. But please, anybody that's been stalked, phone the police, get help, get support, phone the stalking helpline, phone Paladin services, don't put up with it, because we shouldn't be putting up with abuse. We shouldn't be putting up with stalking. We shouldn't be putting up with this.
No, of course not. Of course not.
And if we all stand together against it, the more of us that stand together against it, the stronger we are.
The National Stalking Helpline is 0808 802 0300 0808 802 0300. It's at Eve Thomas Safe on Twitter. Eve, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're very welcome, and you stay safe.
Thank you, Eve.
If you need to talk, I'm here.
Oh, boy, you can talk. Eve,
yeah, I can.
Lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much. I was going to say I enjoyed that. No, I did enjoy that, because she sounds like an absolutely delightful person, and she knows her onions. Thank you, Eve. I just thought that we had to kind of deprogram ourselves after what was an horrendous... I've missed all the ad breaks, sorry, we'll go to one in a minute. After what was an horrendous ending to the show, and, yeah, well, the police ain't done a lot. Thank you as well to everyone who tweeted us last night. And I say, I had 3 or 4 people kind of private messaging me and sharing their stories, and some people that shared some stuff publicly. So thank you. You all shared some amazing stuff. I tell you what, the clunky gear changes, huh? We'll carry on. We can still do nonsense. You can call in about that, or we can still do nonsense. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Uncut after-hours conversation for the up-all-night generation. Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Don't you worry about the clunky gear changes, dear listener. Let me deal with that. Where the hell is that? We had a caller. Where have they gone? What was her name? Sarah? Sarah! Come back, Sarah! Oh, look, this touch screen is very funny. If I get excited, I don't care if she's got a new baby. If I get excited and spit, then it sends the touch screen in front of me to cock. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Don't worry about clunky gear change. You can call in about what we just talked about if you want to do that. Or if you want to call in about stuff and nonsense, then you'd be very, very welcome to. Sky News have got a Brexit countdown clock. What the hell? It's like 703 days, 16 hours, 42 minutes and 13 seconds until Brexit has to happen. Jeez. Anyone notice anything different? Anyone notice anything different in the air today since we triggered Article 50? No. We're all doomed. Did I hear Holy Ken phoning in to Jake Yap and banging on about... that Brexit was prophesied in the Bible or something? Brexit was why doesn't Ken phone me anymore? Either I am the Messiah, I'm the second coming. I could never do that. I could only ever do it once a night. Or I am the Antichrist and I am completely unsavable. You know this guy Ken, Holy Ken, who phones up and it feels like he's got a Bible rammed up his jacksie because it just everything that comes out of his mouth. The more I think about it, right, and I've got every reason to be bitter with religion because I lost my last job, a job I loved, because of some gobby right-wing Christians. I mean, really unpleasant people that want to make homosexuality illegal and ban abortion, those kind of guys. And I've always been a bit, not that bothered about, if people want to pray to their God or whatever. But the more I think about it, the more I do think it is all a load of old guff, isn't it? All of them. All of them. The Christian one, the Jewish one, the Muslim one. It's silly, isn't it? And it's silly. What a load of old rubbish. Oh yeah, well, what happens is, right, when you die, and it also, when you die, you go to somewhere better. What? Really? No. No. I don't think so, guys. I prefer to follow science and facts. Science and facts, I think, is where it's at. Those are the things that get me moist. Science and facts. And as disappointing as it is, I think that once you die, that's it. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We'll do that thing maybe on Friday. I'll bring that book in if I can find it. maybe not Friday, actually, it might have to be next week because the book is somewhere else, where you look at, you imagine you've got like 3 months to live or something, and you've got to look at how your life is going and what would you change. It's a brilliant exercise. It sounds miserable, it sounds maudlin, and it is quite miserable and it is quite maudlin. But actually, it's, once you come out the other side, it really helps you focus on what's important, the nice people in your lives and the people you love, and what's unimportant, Twitter. That's pretty much the end result, but it really is, it's a useful little exercise that a friend gave me. I did it once ages ago. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe, I don't know. I keep thinking that it's a bit too heavy, really. I keep thinking, well, we could do that, but it's a little bit too heavy. But, it's a late night show that, yes, we get more listeners than any BBC local radio show gets at this time of night. But, that ain't saying much, really. That's not saying much. So, here's where my thinking is, right, at the moment with this show. Indulge me up to the news. Right? You can call in, by the way. I won't interrupt this rubbish. 0344 499 1000. Here's where my thinking is with the show. We got taken over by News Corp. So Murdoch owns us, October, November last year, right? And at the moment, we're based in Waterloo, and there is talk of us moving to the Shard, which is about 2.5 miles that way. No, not even that much. About a mile that way. No parking there, but about a mile there. And we'll quite possibly get new bosses and stuff. And I've got a contract, you talk about the Brexit countdown clock. My contract countdown clock has started now, and I'm on 11 months, and 3 weeks and a day, I think. And so my thinking on the show is, right, and I keep umming and ahhing, and yesterday I had a little bit of a crisis of confidence, and my thinking, come closer, my thinking on the show at the moment is, right, we go all in. We put all our chips on black. Yeah? We're there. We've had a good time. Who knows what's going to happen? Let's get all of our chips and push them onto black. Even better than that, let's push them onto a number. Let's push them onto number 36. You get 36 on a thing? No, you don't. You get 30. Is it 36? I don't know. Let's be safe. Let's put it on 12. Yeah! Terrible at roulette. I'm not actually. I'm quite good at roulette. I've got a system and it works. Let's put all of our chips on 12. Shall we do that? We're going all in. 12. It's either going to pay us 36 times all our chips, or we lose all our chips. And that's where my thinking is with the show at the moment. I either rein it back in anticipation of new bosses coming in, going, I don't understand what this show is. I don't get it. The lanky guy that's not been on TV for 10 years? What's he doing talking about, imagine you've only got 3 months left to live? I don't get it. Why is he not talking about Brexit or Trump? So I can either pull back, leave the casino with go and cash my chips in at that little window and walk out of the casino blinking into the sunlight and go home and be safe. I could do that, right? And keep my fingers crossed that when the new bosses do come in, they go, oh, he's doing Brexit, he's doing Trump, he's doing legalising cannabis. Ah, good, he's doing the phone-in on sweets and children's programmes from the 70s. Good. We could do that. Be easy to do that. Or we put all of our chips on 12 and we go full on avant-garde, performance art, long silences, breaking all of the conventions and rules of radio and doing whatever our, and when I say our, I mean mine and Catherine's heart desires with this show until we run it aground. I am mixing my metaphors and I don't care. And at the moment, I'm thinking, yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. Let's put all the chips on 12. Let's go full on with this. Remember when I did the, which one of the shows was it that really annoyed you guys? What was it? Oh, it was either reading the book or it was, it was the one where I said I couldn't be bothered. That was it, where I said I couldn't be bothered. And someone tweeted me, Iain, are you trying to lose your job? Au contraire. My boss at the moment, Denny, I don't see him very often because I come in and he's normally gone home, right? But sometimes I've been coming in early recently because I've had other jobs in London. And every time he strides over to me, my heart sinks. I think, oh, you pushed it too far this time. He doesn't. Every time he walks over, he goes, great show last night. More of that, please. Boom. More of that, please. I was really worried last night. Made the wrong decision with that call with Thomas, the call we talked about earlier on. Honey, I'll come to you in a minute. Really nervous that I made the wrong decision. And the first time in a long, long time, I had that sinking feeling in my stomach of, I messed up here. I messed up. And my boss walked over to me. Love that call last night. You handled it absolutely perfectly. No one could have done it as well as you. My boss saying that. Isn't that fantastic? So, the thinking I've got, you got just under a year of me being safe at Talk Radio. Shifts might move. I don't, no reason to suspect they will, but they might. You never know. So should we go for it? Do you want to go for it? Completely, full on. Let's imagine that this show is a hire car and we are going to cane it. You know when you get a hire car, you're revving it, you might do a few donuts, you cane it because it's not your car. You take it back, as long as you're not crashed it, it's alright. Unless you've got paid the extra 25 quid insurance, when even then it's alright if you crash it. Which I've done. Let's treat this show like a hire car on a Greek island, right? And let's absolutely cane it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I've got some good ideas for things that we can do over the next few weeks. Are you with me? Good. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Good evening, honey.
Hello.
Hello, honey.
Hi, dude.
Yeah, how do?
Hi, it's been a while.
Yeah, I know what's been happening. You've been, like, having life and stuff.
No, not really.
Good. I don't want anyone to have a life outside of this.
Good. Me neither,
No.
actually. Actually, I have two things I want to mention. Oh, interesting.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
The first one is kind of about this stalking business.
Yes.
I don't know I don't think I've really been stalked, harassed a little bit maybe. I don't know. I mean, maybe everyone gets that, but there was this dude who I was actually really good friends with for a while. But then I found out that he had feelings for me, and I kind of was like, I was kind of like really polite about it. I was like, I don't feel the same way, but he became really obsessed. And a lot of things happened, basically, that made me quite scared.
Well, I think that, for me, is the definition. If you, as a man or a woman, feels uncomfortable and or scared, then that attention, you know, because we've all done it, where you go up, you build up confidence to go and talk to a girl and say, look, I've got to tell you, I'm head over heels in love with you. And they go, whoa, really? Because I don't see you in that way at all. We've all done that, right? And pining over someone who's turned you down, you know, but there is a difference between pining and making that person feel uncomfortable. You know, uncomfortable or scared is unacceptable.
This is the thing, is that they kind of like, this person, they like threatened suicide because of me. And then they disappeared for about 2 years. So for those 2 years, me and my friends who were also kind of involved in it felt really bad. We were like, you know, did we kind of cause
that's a terrible position to put someone in. That's awful.
Horrible.
Yeah, that's awful. That is mental bullying that's horrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It gets worse because they got in contact with me last year, and I was like telling them that I kind of felt bad and stuff, and I was kind of being nice and whatever. And he kind of like, without asking me, he bought me a ticket to see Brian Wilson VIP.
Well, that's about 250 quid, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. And he sent me the screenshots of the receipt and everything. And I couldn't take it because I was like, this is just manipulative.
Oh, well done you.
Killed me.
Well done you, because I imagine that you know, sometimes it's easier to do things because we're put in an uncomfortable position. So well done for standing your ground, honey, because that must, that
was so hard, honestly.
Yeah, I bet. Honey, listen, you had a second point, but I'm going to the news. Stay there. We'll come to you after that. Then we'll speak to Paul. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Right, now listen, this show, we're talking about going all in, putting the chips on set on 12, caning the car. This show will only work if you or someone you know calls in. Right? So you've got to start calling. You've got to start sharing this phone number with as many people as you can. Friends, neighbours, colleagues, put it up on the notice board at work, put it in, windows of newsagents. This show can only go in the direction I want it to go in if we get more calls. All right? 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. We call you back. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Differently interesting nocturnal emissions from a legend of late night radio. Iain Lee, on air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Okie dokie. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You can watch on periscope.tv/Iain Lee. Very, very busy on the Periscope this evening. Very busy. It's too far away, so I can't see what people are saying. Hassan and Paul, I'll come to you in a bit. We're still talking to Honey. Honey, point number 2, please.
I was going to say, have you seen this documentary on Netflix called The Curse of the Man Who Sees UFOs?
Whoa, hang on a second. There's so many words in that title that it sounds... The Curse of the Man Who Sees UFOs?
It has, undeniable proof on video of UFOs. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, hang on a minute. You're saying Netflix has got the exclusive scoop that UFOs exist?
Yes.
Why are they not... If it's undeniable proof, why are they not trumpeting about it?
I don't know, maybe because the government wants to keep it quiet.
The government can't silence Netflix. Nobody can silence Netflix.
Exactly.
Not even Amazon Prime or Sky.
I know, but there was no advertising for it. I only heard about it because one of my friends saw it.
There's some good documentaries hidden away on Netflix, but you've really got to trawl through a load of old crap.
Yeah, true.
A load of old crap. And here's the thing as well with these streaming services, and they all do it. I say all, I can only think of... Well, no, there's Now, there's... what are you laughing at that for? That's a real one. There's...
Plex.
Plex?
Have you heard of that?
What's... what is Plex?
It's just another streaming thing.
And Amazon Prime and Netflix are the main ones, right? But they take stuff off there. So stuff is only on there for a few months, and then they'll take it off, and you go, I watched that film that I saw. Where's it gone?
They took Pee-wee's Big Adventure off. I was really upset.
I love Pee-wee. No, is that the new one?
No, the first one.
The first one is the best.
The new one is okay.
The new one's good. The new one made me laugh a lot. But also, right, we ended up watching Agent Cody Banks 2 the other day, right? But Agent Cody Banks 1 wasn't on there. Are you telling me they couldn't get the rights to Agent Cody Banks 1, but they got the right... And here's the thing, right? I'm watching Agent Cody Banks 2, right? And then and it's filmed a bit came up. It's in London. I went and watched them film that. And I did. I went down and watched them film a bit of Agent Cody Banks 2. And I'd completely forgotten about it until I saw this. I went and watched them filming that down the South Bank. But they do that. They have they'll have part 3. They'll have Home Alone 3, but not Home Alone 1 and 2.
I don't understand. Someone needs to get fired or out.
Here's the thing, right? They had, I think it was the 4th movie in the Beethoven series. You know the big dog, Beethoven?
Yes.
Right. And so we watched the 4th one, but we couldn't watch 1, 2 and 3. Now, in the 4th one, this is how mad it is, right? So it's a film about Big Dog and Charles Grodin. Charles Grodin isn't in it, right? But in 4, Beethoven is a famous dog, right? Because can you guess why he's a famous dog?
Does he compose music?
No. Because he starred in the Beethoven movies.
Oh.
What? Beethoven, and the thing is, Beethoven is coming to our town. What? The dog from the films? They're saying in one of the films, right? And then what happens is, a black elf falls off of Santa's sleigh. Right? Bearing in mind, in the first three Beethovens, it's a dog, and it's like Charles Grodin, and it's cute, right? So in the fourth film, Beethoven is famous, a black elf, falls off of Santa's sleigh, right? And then he's got a candy cane that if he licks it, right, he can understand what Beethoven says.
What? Who writes this?
Who writes this stuff? So Beethoven is famous. There's a black elf. He's fallen off a sleigh. Everybody licks a candy cane, and Beethoven starts talking. What the hell is wrong with these people? And that's on Netflix. But it's quite good. But 1, 2, and 3 aren't on there.
I hate that.
It is actually quite a good film, that one. It is quite funny, so I would...
I'm going to watch it, definitely.
Honey, thank you very much indeed. Someone who I think has certainly heard dogs talk is Paul. Good evening, Paul.
Hi again.
Ever heard a dog talk?
I need to say sausages.
Sausages.
That was called That's Life, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Esther Ranson, yeah.
Here's the question on everyone's lips. Did your mum like her soothers, her Hall's soothers you got her for Mother's Day?
She has eaten 2 of them in bed in the middle of the night because she's been woken up by a constant cough, and she's eaten a couple of them, and it sent her back to sleep and cured her cough. She was totally appreciative.
Well, that's all we can ask for is TA, total appreciation.
Yeah,
and you got it from Mum. Well done, Paul.
I've got a few brownie points now, haven't I?
From her, you have, yes.
Yeah, not from you, I guess.
No, not from me.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, what I was going to say was,
yes, Paul.
You were talking about playing roulette.
Yep.
Gambling your show.
Yep.
Okay, right. I say do bet it. Because I heard once, and I would actually love to do this one day, for real, is a guy once sold all his possessions, sold his house, sold everything he owned, absolutely everything.
Yes.
Made all the money, put it as one money together.
Now, is this a true story?
Okay, this is a true story, yeah.
What was the man's name?
I don't know, I can't remember. I'm only going for the back of my memory, but it is true, yeah.
What country did this happen in?
He was a British guy, but went to America to gamble.
Okay.
Okay, you can look it up. I'm sure you'll find it's true.
Well,
I would actually love to do this.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay, right.
Sell everything and sell everything and put it on black.
Yeah, you put it. Yeah, he sold everything.
Yeah.
Every last of his possessions, had nothing.
Yeah.
And all the money, he went to a casino and just put it on the roulette, red or black.
Yeah.
Gambled it.
Right.
Now, it's bothering me, and I'm not Googling because that's cheating, but I don't know if he won or not.
For God's sake. Why would you, No, why would you phone up and tell me a half-remembered, half-made-up story?
I really don't think it's made up.
Well, who told you it? Which journal did you read it in?
It was years ago. I saw a TV...
A film?
No, it
was his name John Candy?
A documentary thing.
Right. You didn't stay till the end of the documentary?
Yes, I did, but I can't remember if he bloody won or not.
Right. Was it Brewster's Millions?
That's funny,
So let me get this straight. You want to copy a man who may have lost everything he owns?
What's the worst that can happen?
You lose everything you own?
Yeah, so you go back to living at your mum and
hang on. How are you getting back? How are you going to get back from America?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, exactly. So he's stuck. He's stuck as a male escort in Las Vegas.
I'm just saying. It just sums up like, is everything that really important?
Well, yeah. Well, if you're kind of saying that possessions mean nothing, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, does everything really matter at the end of the day? Does your laptop matter? Does your mobile phone matter?
Yes.
Does it really... Your book collection, your DVD collection, your CD collection...
Yes.
Does it really matter?
Yes. Yes, it does. A lot.
I just think people might be a bit shallow about it.
Well, how many... do you own your property?
No, I own a property that the mother of my child lives in. I have a share in it.
Right, well, sell it.
No, because then you're right, yeah.
Sell it. Turf them out, because as we know, property doesn't mean anything. Turf them out and sell it.
Make my ex-missus and my son homeless, yeah.
Oh, but then you're just arguing against yourself, because now you're saying...
You're right, yes, you've made a point, you're right, yeah.
Now you're saying that property is actually really important. How many books have you got in your house?
Mine personally, yeah, I've got a few books, yeah.
How many? 50, 100?
Yeah, about 50, 70, yeah.
Throw them away.
Yeah.
There's about 4 charity shops up near near you in Farnham Common. About 4.
Yes, there is.
Put the books in black bin bags if you haven't chucked them out already.
No, I'll tell you which one I'll take you. It was the Shaw Trust.
Okay, we'll take all the books to the Shaw Trust.
Yeah, but I wouldn't raise any money to gamble it.
Sorry. So it's not the possessions.
You're right, I'm wrong again, yeah. Okay.
Well, you're obviously, but it's not the possessions that are important to you. It's the gamble is what this is about. You've just argued that everything is unimportant, yet you still want money.
I'm just making a point that it'd just be a bit of fun, wouldn't it?
Well, you've changed from saying that we don't need all of these things to it will be a bit of fun to somehow raise some money to go to America, to go to Las Vegas to gamble. Well, yeah, it would be. That's why it's...
I'm just making a simple point.
That's why people go to Las Vegas, because it's fun.
And what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas,
wish you'd stay in Las Vegas. So...
You wish I was staying in Las Vegas,
If you won... Right? So let's say you make £20,000 selling all your stuff, right?
Yeah.
You put it on... What are you going to put it on? Red, black?
I'll put it on red, yeah.
Okay. You double up with red, so you get £40,000.
Yeah.
Right, so you've got 40 grand.
Yeah.
What are you gonna buy?
All the possessions back I had.
You absolute idiot.
Yeah, right, yeah, okay. It was just a bit of fun to say. I was just making a bit of fun out of you saying gambling for your contract.
Wasn't fun for the listener, Paul.
I'm sorry again.
Thanks very much. 0344 499 1000. Late nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Don't forget Manchester. We're doing this show from a listener's house on Friday, May the 5th. And then Catherine and I are recording an episode, well, several episodes of The Rabbit Hole, a little podcast we do in Manchester, tiny little theatre, on Saturday, May the 6th. There are 15 tickets left. 15 tickets left. If you want to come, get the tickets now. ticketsource.co.uk/Iain-Lee. ticketsource.co.uk/Iain-Lee. It's also the same place to get the tickets for Eddie Lodge. And I've naughty. I've broken my rule this week of not engaging with people on Twitter while I do the show. Sorry, my bad. I'll stop. Yeah, coffee please, Ed, thank you. I've stopped. Stop now for the rest of the show. Thank you. Let's go to Ray. Evening, Ray.
Good evening.
Yes?
I was just going to finish off your last caller's story.
Hang on a minute, Ray. Have you fallen down a well?
No, can you hear me?
Well, it's very. It's like you're. Are you speaking into a microphone?
No, I'm speaking it's one of these dodgy sort of BT phones, but it's a normal phone.
It's an awful. It sounds like you're broadcasting at Wembley Stadium. It sounds terrible.
Really?
Yes.
And it sounds a bit like this, Ray, and it's very, very muffly.
I can't get it any closer to my mouth.
No, well, maybe take it a little bit away from the mouth.
Well, is that any better?
Tell me what you have for breakfast.
Crunchy nut cornflakes.
That's a disappointing breakfast.
It could be worse.
I think if the breakfast isn't warm, then neither is the man's heart.
That's ridiculous.
It's what is wisdom. It's wisdom. If the breakfast isn't warm, then neither is the man's heart.
Everyone's got time to have a warm breakfast, though.
Even a bit of toast. Love a bit of toast.
It takes too long.
Love a bit of toast. Love a bit of toast. I tell you what I don't like, right? I don't like marmalade, and I don't like chocolate spread.
Oh, yeah, you can't have chocolate spread in the morning.
No. Once you're over the age of 6, no. But I do like Marmite, and I do love a bit of strawberry jam. I do love a little bit of strawberry jam.
Strawberry jam's good, but you shouldn't be having Marmite in your 40s.
What are you talking about?
It's the devil's food.
No. You're either you don't grow out of Marmite. You're either for or again, and I think you can you can divide the world into groups of people who like Marmite and groups of people who hate it. And it is one of the greatest foods of all time.
No, I'll have to disagree.
Well, this is coming from a fellow who has crunchy nut bloody cornflakes. Hey, you can't lecture me. You can't lecture me on breakfasts.
How did we get onto breakfast?
You started it.
You did.
You started banging on about crunchy nut cornflakes.
God, I was going to finish off that last gentleman's story.
Go on then.
You know, Simon Cowell had a rubbish idea called Red or Black.
Yes.
Game show. Well, it was based on this guy who sold all his possessions, went to Vegas and doubled his money, basically.
Oh.
It was a guy called Ashley Revel. It's a while ago now. I think it's mid-2000s. But he went to the US, and I think he ended up with about $130,000, and he bet it all on red.
Did he? Well...
Yeah, and he won.
Well, but, I mean, what if he'd lost?
Well, absolutely, yeah. But that's what the Red and Black game show, I believe that's what it was based on. Simon Cowell heard that story and thought, that'll make a good game show.
Well, it was a terrible game. but, well, yeah, it's a terrible show, wasn't it? I mean, it was an absolute stinker.
Awful. I'd just like to also say is I'm an ex-copper, so what you did last night was absolutely bang on.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that, because as you would have heard, it was maybe I overreacted a little bit by my little whinging on air, but it was a very uncomfortable position, and Catherine and Ed were calm rocks amidst my on-air meltdown. But thank you, Ray. I appreciate that.
If you ever have any doubts about anything, then you've obviously got to do what's in your head.
What I want to stress is because we were worried about data protection and all that kind of stuff, but actually I was more worried about the woman and her kids. That is the only time in 15 years of radio I have ever done that, and go to the police, and the only reason I did that was because I thought there was a threat to that woman and her family.
Yeah, and you've done the right thing. Even people, if they go to see psychiatrists and everything like that, the first thing somebody's told is everything's confidential unless you tell us something we think will put someone else at risk, and then we would act on it. So.
Exactly, and I just want to stress to everyone else that is listening and is maybe thinking of calling in with the fact they want to phone up and tell me they nicked a video. I have never been to the police before, and I would like to think that I would never have to go to the police again because of a call. People can phone up, and I will respect their anonymity. I will respect their stories. I will respect, but I thought someone was at threat, Ray, and that's why I had to go and do that.
Mate, you're top man, Ian. Definitely done the right thing.
Ray, you're a pervert, disgusting pervert for eating crunchy nut cornflakes, but I think you're a good man.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much indeed. Hassan!
Ian?
Hassan?
Really nervous today, actually.
Why is that, man?
I've been nervous about
Well, we had a weird one last night, because you called up in the wake of... I couldn't fake a phone call last night.
I could tell you were faking it, and I thought, should I hang up? But I don't do that on you. And because I had called, I said to Ed, Ed, I shouldn't go on after what's happened. Because I was listening to the podcast, I was tapping on my laptop, working away, and I heard Coke and milk, and I thought, better call up. and that's what makes your radio great, because if I switch on to, no disrespect, 5 Live, I love their football stuff, but if I switch on to those radio stations, it's the same tone. And, from Coke and milk to you went to that. I'm not saying I'm totally condemning what he was talking about last night, but that's what makes the show so unique.
And listen, and I knew that you're coming on, and I said to Ed and Kath, don't put him on if he's going to talk about that, because I couldn't handle it. And I was thinking, I'll do a clunky gear change, it'll be fine. And I couldn't, because I was so affected by the call. I just couldn't do it, Hassan. And you handled the light rejection in the spirit that it was intended, and more power to your elbow.
Story of my life,
there
rejection.
Well, there we go.
I just want to talk to you about work, really. You talk about work and how you sleep sometimes till 3, 4 p.m. and then you're lucky to have a job that's in the evening because of your depression.
Yeah.
Now, I have a 9 to 5, and I hope no one's listening from work, but I struggle. Because I struggle with depression, but I struggle to wake up or not to sleep at all. So, over the last few days, I've been sleeping, an hour and a half per night. And I'm being blind. I can't even concentrate because I need to have my hearing on 100%. It's an absolute struggle, and I just wondered why that plays havoc with you, but waking up early.
Ask that again. Why what?
Why does it affect you waking up early? Because you said you couldn't do it. You said you couldn't wake up early.
I'm just tired. I'm just tired. I can't focus. I don't have a clear head. I'm grumpy. I'm irritable. I'm more sensitive to perceived slights. I'll be Kath will know if I've had a bad night's sleep, because I'll be snappy with her for something that on another night I will take as a joke, and she rightfully puts me in my place. I don't know. I don't know how anyone does a proper job, because I haven't had a proper job for years, right? Years. And no, actually, I do know how people do it, because I have had proper jobs and I have had to work regular hours, and you do it because that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You get through it. We get through it, generally. Not everyone does. Not everyone makes it through the end of a day. Not everyone, can stop themselves from, jumping in front of a train or something. I keep referring to that because I keep thinking of someone I vaguely knew who did that. And it's, for some reason he's in my head at the moment. But, see, now look, here we go. Look, now, because I've spat, and it's not even like a big spit.
You spat at the microphone?
No, I spat. We've got a touch screen. This phone system is on a touch screen. And because I accidentally, a little bit of spit came out. Can we get... Right, this is what we need. Can we get a wet wipe to clean the screen on here? This is what I need to do. I need to clean the screen, because the phone box system has just closed down in front of me. We got wet wipes? Here we go. Thank you, Ed. Thank you.
Yeah,
why is Ed coming in and not saying stuff? When did we make that a rule? Sorry. Thank you. It's you may get cut off here. Oh, geez,
no.
Well, I don't know. I'm just going to clean this screen.
The first time that's happened to you in 15 years as well.
Filthy. Jeez, look at that. Here we go. That's going to do it. That's it. Beautiful. It's still filthy. There we go. Right, well, let's see if that has any impact. See if that has any impact.
Iain.
Yes.
Another difficult question. Why is there not enough talk radio? Because I grew up in the late 90s, and that's how I picked up my English, just through listening to Jezza and Virgin and Tommy Boyd and Dickens. Why is there no talk radio nowadays?
There is. There's loads. What are you talking about?
Is there?
What are you talking about? What are you saying there's none? That's a lie. It's fake news.
It's not. No, okay, but there's not shows like yourself. Well, there's you, but there's nothing like Dickens and Boyd and just out there. I mean, it's also serious.
Okay. I will point you in the direction of John Holmes.
John Holmes.
Wow.
Okay, where's that?
Wow, you're about to have your mind blown. He's on this radio station.
What time though?
He's on at 1 till 4.
Oh.
No, don't give me the I'm at work. You didn't say why is there no talk radio? You said why is there no talk radio? I'm giving you examples. You can go and get his podcast, or you can go and listen again on the website.
Is he like you though?
No.
Unpredictable.
No, he's not like me. He's nothing like me, and I'm nothing like him. But he's good. He's bloody good. He's stupid at times, and he's heavy at times. He's brilliant.
Okay, well, I stand corrected, but...
No, you do. He is unique. He is unique, and he is there is a reason he has got the biggest audience on this station by quite some way. So I recommend you listen to John Holmes. Have you tried Jake Yap this week?
No. Why don't I know these people?
Have you listened to James Whale?
No, that's never been my thing.
Nor mine. He's only here because I think he's got something on the boss. Jake Yap is filling in for James Whale this week between 7 and 10. Have you listened to Bob Mills on a Sunday?
Yes, and I love Bob Mills.
Have you listened to Howard Hughes on a Sunday?
No, I don't get his conspiracy theories.
Right.
Sorry.
Those are the kind of shows that you're citing at me, and I'm giving them back to you.
I'm citing shows like you.
There's no show like me. It's you. There's nothing like me. You're never going to get anything like me, and I'm not like Boyd, and I'm not like Baker. I'm me. I'm very, very close, Hassan. I'm not quite there yet. I'm very, very close to getting my own voice. Do you know what I mean by that?
What, your own presence? What do you mean by your own voice?
I mean my own voice. I'm very close. I'm still some way off. And when I say close, I'm probably 3 or 4 years off, right? But I am very close to having my own voice and being 100% unique. At the moment, I would say I'm 70% unique, with traces of Boyd and Baker and Abbott and Bull and O'Brien and Vincent and Beadle, with traces of those. But I reckon in about 4 years' time, I'll have broken through all of my inspirations and all of my stolen little things that I've picked up on the way, and I will have created my own unique, 100% unique radio show. I will have found my voice.
I can't wait to listen to that.
Mate, I'll see you in 4 years' time, buddy, and we'll check in there. That's my prediction. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Here's the thing, guys. I've got plans for this show. I'm going to take us places. You want to come? Well, you need to phone in. You need to phone in. It's more fun. We've got Craig lined up. It's more fun when you phone in, I've realised. So, pick up the phone, if you've never done it before, 0344 499 1000. Pass the phone number on to your friends, to your family, to your colleagues. Pass it on to anybody. Write it on toilet walls with the time of day to call. 0344 499 1000. There are people watching us on Periscope right now, all around the world. You can call us from abroad. 0044 344 499 1000. Just, you see the number. It's, if you're watching on Periscope, the phone number's there. Drop the 0, add 0044. You phone up, you speak to Kath. She'll take your name and number. She will call you back. It will cost you pennies. If you're in the UK, it's probably a free phone call. It will cost you pennies if you're abroad. 0344 499 1000. Don't forget to tick your age. Our diaries. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over.
Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Enjoying a nice cup of coffee this time of night, which is probably a terrible thing to do, as I shall be up bright and early tomorrow morning, and I will be going to Legoland. Legoland. I like neither Lego nor fairground rides, and Legoland is full of Lego and fairground rides. So I shall be going there. Wish me luck. 0344 499 1000. Good evening, Craig.
Good evening, Ian.
Yes?
You were on about things disappearing on Netflix.
Yes.
I got a weirder one than that.
Oh.
I quite like watching the Horror Channel in the day, you know, the free films channel on Sky.
I am aware of it. I very rarely go up that high. I don't really watch TV using, you know, the TV controller. I watch it. If I can't watch it via an Xbox controller, I don't watch it these days.
Yeah, they have things like the Incredible Hulk series on and things like that in the day.
Oh, do they?
Obviously, they have to keep it PG for daytime audiences.
Yes.
You know that film, The Dead Zone?
Why do they have to keep it PG for daytime audiences? Why can't the Horror Channel show I Spit on Your Grave or, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Unemployed people or night workers, shift workers, or parents on a holiday, or people that haven't got kids, millionaires, that they want to be entertained during the daytime. Why can't we show horror films and full... Why can't we show on British television sex? Like proper, full sex. Because you've ever watched those mucky channels, right? They don't show sex. You think you're seeing sex, but you're not seeing sex. What you're seeing is the top of a lady's head bobbing up and down, or you're seeing, you know, the backside of a man slapping back and forth. But you're not seeing sex. Even after 11 o'clock at night, even after midnight, you're not seeing sex. Why can we show dead bodies on at tea time? Tea time. Dead bodies. When that terrorist attack, that idiot, what's his name, Adrian Elms, drove that car across the bridge the other day, afternoon news was showing dead and dying people. People dying. If you watch the news, you would see actual people dying, but I cannot see a man inserting his penis into a lady at any time of the day. Why? Why is that, Craig?
So anyway, the Incredible Hulk programs on the Horror Channel.
You're uncomfortable discussing this? Why are you uncomfortable discussing it?
Why am I uncomfortable?
You can't even say the word uncomfortable. What's happened to you, man?
On daytime television.
Well, sex on any time television. Why? Let's make it simple. Why can't I see penetration after 11 o'clock at night?
Because of the Ofcom.
Okay. Why is that rule there? Yet I can watch someone dying at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, there's rules, isn't there?
Yeah, but why? Why is there? I would rather, for the sake of all that is good, that the rule was you can't show dying people until after 11 o'clock, but we can show people making love. We can show people enjoying each other's company in the most intimate of fashions any time of the day. And yet we can't. We can't. That's weird, isn't it?
Wow.
That's weird, Craig, and I know you're uncomfortable talking about it, but that's weird.
But I didn't watch any of the coverage of the Westminster Bridge either.
Yeah, but it was on. It was on. Sky News was showing it. It was on.
Yeah, society is going to hell, isn't it?
Society is arse about tit when it is acceptable to see people dying. Actually, they're breathing their last breath, but we're not allowed to see people creating life.
Well, it's worse in America, isn't it? Because they have violence quite a lot, but they're even stricter on sex in films.
I just don't understand it. And you'll never see a Hollywood film with actual sex. You'll see fake sex, but you won't see real people, real intimacy. You'll never get real intimacy in a Hollywood movie. And I think that's sad. And yet we can see someone, firing a machine gun in a Hollywood movie and blowing up a building, but you'll never see actual, genuine intimacy.
Well, there's all forms of intimacy. It doesn't have to...
But surely the most intimate, physically, you can be with someone is intercourse.
I don't know, wiping someone's bum is quite intimate.
Sorry?
Wiping someone's bum's quite intimate.
Wiping someone's bum?
Yeah.
I've never seen that in a film. I've never seen it in a film, you're right. I've never seen it. It's a different kind of intimacy.
Yeah. I think I'd like to know the person better doing that than I would the other.
Can you imagine? I've had to wipe my mum's backside.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in a position where you're relying on other people to wipe your backside?
Yeah, that's a horrible loss of control.
Isn't it really, when you're so dependent on other people to do that, the one of the most base things you can do for one of the most loving things you can do for another human being is to clean up their mess after they've been to the bathroom.
Of course, you play that game as a parent, don't you? When you look at your fingers and you go, is that poo or chocolate? And sometimes it's poo or chocolate.
And how do you determine which it is? Do you suck it?
The taste, yeah.
Hey. Anyway, Craig, The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, and one of the shows they had, you know the Dead Zone movie with Christopher Walken from the Stephen King novel?
Yes.
Where he shakes the president's hands and finds out he's going to launch, a bit like Trump, I suppose.
Yes.
He's going to launch a nuclear bomb. They did the TV show of it. And they had one of the guys who was in the Breakfast Club movie, the one that played the dorky kid in it.
Yeah.
And the Horror Channel started playing it. Excellent. You know, Series 1, Series 2. They went to Series 5.
Oh.
Great cliffhanger. Didn't bother showing Series 6.
Oh.
Got no idea how it ends. It was getting really good.
Well, do they have any intention? This is why one of the many reasons I don't trust television, because it lies to you.
Yeah, no, on the website now, no longer transmitted. This was about a year ago I was watching it. And because it's such a strange series, you can't really get it on any dodgy sites either.
Can you not buy it on DVD?
I doubt you'd have a UK release, and then you're talking using a Region 1 DVD player.
Well, all the DVDs players can be cracked.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, you know, if we're talking legalities, and obviously you're a Murdoch company now.
Hang on a second.
Oh, that was one of the funniest things ever, that was.
What was that?
When they were showing Oscar, about 5 years ago, they were showing the Oscars, and they had a British celebrity panel when they had the breaks.
Yes.
And it was when Game of Thrones started.
Right, you can get The Dead Zone Season 6 for £7.49 on Amazon.
Well, then I didn't try hard enough.
Thank you very much indeed, Craig. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Yes, we will. We had John Lydon on about, 3 months ago? 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. AD Bob.
I do. Thanks for having me on. Bit of an echo. I contacted you on Twitter earlier, and I made the common mistake of someone who's getting trolled online, of coming across a bit like a troll themselves when they try and explain somehow the situation that they're in. And I just wanted to come over and make that point, to tell you the truth.
Hang on a minute. Are you the person that I asked to stop contacting me on Twitter?
Yeah, leave me out of it, which kind of suggests that I tried to introduce you to a spat.
I wasn't interested, but now you've... Well done for leaving me out of it on Twitter, but now you've phoned me up to talk about the spat.
I didn't actually want to talk about the spat. Because obviously,
I'm not having I'm not having a spat with you, if that's what you're thinking. But I'm not.
Oh no,
I'm not interested in what is going on Twitter.
No, in relation to what exactly? Sorry.
What?
In relation to what exactly?
Well, I don't understand your premise.
Well, you've advertised the show on Twitter and you've made certain comments to certain people.
Yes, but I'm not interested. This is the attitude. This is the attitude that turned me off you on Twitter. I'm not interested in Twitter.
Well, that's cool. Twitter's not a very nice place.
What you're doing though is you're carrying on the conversation that I asked you to exclude me from on Twitter.
No, I want to make other points than that.
You were going on about trolls, and you were telling me all this stuff about trolls and doing that thing that people do when they think they have secret information. DM me, and I will tell you more. Well,
that was much because there's certain things I can't say publicly.
But I'm not interested.
Like Eve Thomas tried to say earlier.
But I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
In what exactly? You say you're not just interested in Twitter in general.
Yeah.
Well, you see, you were interested enough to allow people like Eve Thomas, and she's a very inspirational person.
You're carrying on the conversation on Twitter that I've asked you to exclude me from.
But my point is that
I'm not interested.
There are two types of trolls.
I'm not interested. Do you not see what you're doing? You have been. I've politely, you've been tweeting me about trolls and things, and I have finally said, could you leave me out of this, please? I think did I say it twice or 3 times to you? I'm not sure.
I think it was twice.
Okay. And now you're phoning me up to carry on the conversation that I've asked to be left out of because I'm not interested.
I told the producer what I'd like to do, and she allowed me through.
Well, but you've still.
Is that between me and the producer?
No, you've called up. The producer puts people through who.
And then the producer asked you, "Do you want to accept this call?"
So you're saying it's.
And I was put through blind, was I?
Are you saying that it's Catherine's fault? That you are. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Are you saying it's Catherine's fault that you have phoned up to continue a conversation that I have twice asked you to leave me out of? It's Catherine's fault.
No, my point is that this call is screened.
No. Accept responsibility.
Please, you've just asked me a question. Let me answer.
Are you saying it's her fault?
No, not at all.
So it's your fault. It's your responsibility. Accept responsibility.
I will. But you were briefed about what I was going to talk about.
No, I wasn't. It says
why did you comment on me hot like that? I mean, I had other points.
No, you phoned up. It says on here. It says. I'll tell you what it said.
Have you got notes?
It's no. It says here. AD Bob says he's had beef with you online because he was a TW, and then the screen finishes.
I came on to apologise, man.
No,
I didn't come on to talk about my stuff.
You're continuing a conversation that I have twice asked you to leave me out of, and you phoned up to tell me.
First of all.
But then you carried on telling me about it. I'm not interested in Twitter.
I unequivocally want to say sorry for bugging you online while you were flipping.
And now will you apologise for bugging me on the phone?
No, while you were trying to make a point on your show. I've done it again. I'm actually being trolled online. I've been trolled for nearly 5 years.
I'm not interested.
Well, I'm trying to tell you about the difficulties I've had trying to get people to understand what I've been going through.
I know, and you were telling me on Twitter, and I asked you to leave me out of the conversation.
No, I was trying to point out on Twitter what's been going on, because it's the same people that are having a go at me.
I'm not interested.
Had a go at some of your guests.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested in any of the baggage that may have been that may have attached itself to one of my guests. I'm not interested.
No,
I was interested to hear her thoughts on stalking.
And I was trying to make some valid points about stalking, not just what I raised online. You were continuing the conversation that I very, very politely. I could have muted you. I could have blocked you. I could have told you to F off. I very politely asked you to leave me out of that conversation. But thank you for doing that in that way, because you could have actually said it in a much different fashion.
I know I could. I'm a nice guy.
Could we draw the line in the sand and?
Well, are you going to carry on this No. Are you going to carry on the conversation on Twitter that I've asked to be left out of?
No, I'm not a troll. I'm not a troll. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
No, but you're annoying.
I didn't mean to be annoying.
But you were. And I think a lack of self-awareness.
This is the trap that I've fallen into, that people like me who are being assailed online commonly fall into. We end up coming across like trolls ourselves.
I know, exactly, and you can stop that.
Apologise about that.
You've done it. You've apologised.
Well, thank you for letting me do so. It's just...
There's a tone in the voice there.
No. Honestly, thank you for letting me do so. It's like cool.
Well, you could have just left it when you could have just left it when I said, for the first time, could you leave me out of this, please? You carried on, and then for this is one of the problems I have with Twitter, and why I have no interest in it.
One of the problems that I come across as well. It really is.
And why I have no interest in it is because people just start talking to me about stuff I have no interest in, and expect and then get angry. When I say I'm not interested,
I haven't got angry at all.
I've got a little bit angry this evening.
No, I'm frustrated and I'm a bit upset as well. But I haven't swore or I haven't had a go at you, and I've been really even. And like I've even said, let's draw the line in the sand and discuss another issue related. to trolling and victims.
Well, which is the conversation that I asked you to exclude me from.
Well, I mean, but now you're asking me to talk to you. What do you want? I mean, do you want to just kill this convo? But I don't know what my purpose is now.
Does anyone know what their purpose is? Does anyone know what their purpose is?
Existentialism, I can discuss that all day, man. You should see my timeline.
I don't want to see your timeline. I'm not interested in your timeline.
I'm not asking you. I'm not.
You just said you should see it.
I'm not prompting you to try and look at my timeline. I'm not advertising anything at all related personally to me. I really am trying to avoid that. Please don't put me in a box and up a corner. I've
not done anything. All I've done is ask you to exclude me from a conversation, probably about, twice online and about 8 times in this phone conversation. I'm not putting you in anything.
But I did say at the outset,
why do you want me to like you? Why is it so important for me to like you?
No, it's not. It's not that I want you to like me at all. I'm not looking for you to validate me.
Well, why have you phoned up then?
Because I was hoping, actually, that a message would be passed to you that, Ady Bob, you're sorry you come across like an idiot.
It doesn't work like that. It's not a messaging service. It's a phone-in show.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't contact you online. You're not following me. I can't DM you.
Well, you could have just stopped.
Said, look,
why do you need to contact me? You could have just at the first or second request of being asked to leave me out of the conversation, you could have just either said, "All right, sorry," or just not replied. That would have been good enough.
I made a mistake and I tried to make it right. That's all. Really. I haven't tried to advertise what I'm doing, what's happening to me, anything I'm going through like that. I was trying to make reference to the fact that there are different types of troll out there. They've got different reasons for doing their thing. I mean, look at me at the moment. You've actually called me a troll. In other words, today.
No, I haven't said a troll. I haven't said that at all. You've said that, do you know what you're doing?
I'm trolling you online.
I've not said that, Ady, at all.
I know, but you see that
this is what you're doing. You're jumping to your own. You're jumping to your own conclusions. I've not said that, but you are carrying on the conversation that I've asked you to exclude me from.
I know, but why are you coming around to that singular point? I've made many other points during this conversation.
No, you haven't. You keep picking up the conversation that I have asked you to exclude me from because I am not interested.
You've referred to this point much more than I have.
You keep coming back to it. Why do you keep coming back to it?
Because you've referred to it so often. I can talk about anything you want.
You keep saying that. You mentioned existentialism and then you went back to your Twitter timeline.
You mentioned existentialism.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't mention existentialism. I said, what is anyone's point? You went, existentialism. I can talk about that. You should look at my timeline. You should get off Twitter.
Why?
Because you're obsessed with it, man.
Obsessed with what exactly? I don't hardly ever talk to anyone because everything I say is targeted. I can't speak to anyone.
There's the conversation again that I've asked you to exclude me from.
The victim trying to tell you what's going on.
I'm not interested. As I said on Twitter, please exclude me from this conversation.
And then I tried to give you a reference just now because you asked me to as to why I've referred to it.
What you're speaking in riddles, man.
No, I'm not. Your producer allowed me on here to talk to you.
Don't blame it on her. Accept responsibility for making a call that wasn't wanted.
Don't return to... Well, why? You're a talk show. Why did you let me on?
Because you phoned up.
Got me online now.
Because you phoned up.
You just cut me off.
Because I'm not like that.
Why don't you actually try and... I'm not trying to qualify... you've poured everything on me now. You've tried to say that I'm just trying to get you to like me, that I'm obsessed with Twitter. You haven't made any references at all to anything that you've seen about me or...
I don't know anything about you and I don't care about you.
I know, but you've just returned to these singular points that you keep coming to.
No, you keep going back to a conversation that I'm not interested in.
Well, what would you like to talk about, man?
Well, you mentioned that you knew a lot about existentialism. I'd love to discuss that with you. What do you know about it?
Okay, man. Well, at the moment, there's a few experiments that have been going on over the last 30 years. Incredible stuff, man. They are trying to determine if we can actually dispense with our view of time, because time is linear, the way we see it. It has to go forwards. But when you go down to the small levels, the time is actually dismissed. The time can go forwards and backwards. And there's quantum experiments that can show exactly that has happened. But there's a few really interesting mind experiments as well, which...
Who's conducting these experiments?
I'd have to refer someone, because I don't know these names off the top of my head.
Well,
no, I'm not going to say that word.
You need to... I suggest you go outside and breathe some fresh air.
Why?
I just think that being a man of your age, that obsessed with Twitter, I just don't think it's healthy, Ady Bob.
No, you hang. No, why are you saying I'm obsessed with Twitter? I've just mentioned
it's all you've spoken about all night.
Twitter. No, it isn't.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling.
Oh, see, are you? Oh, see.
Yeah. 0344 499 1000 late nights with Iain Lee.
Talk Radio.
Another hour to go. We'll play the Jimmy Tarbuck interview this hour that we missed yesterday. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give me a call. Don't forget, guys, to tick your Radar diaries. You're listening to Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Everybody is a critic. By the way, guys, I've had a little glimpse at Twitter, and I'm so glad I'm not engaging with it during the show because everybody's a critic. Don't tell me how to do my job, guys. Not on Twitter. Not on Twitter. Don't tell me how to do my job on Twitter. I've got certificates, I'll have you know, Eddie Christie. And Paul Kelly. Let me read one tweet. Hang on. From Eddie Christie. Stop being an antagonising, repetitive twit. And cut him off if you don't want to be involved in his conversation. I'm switching off, says Eddie. No, he's not. He's still listening in. Because Eddie's got no life. He'll keep on listening. He cannot stop listening because it's good. The show's so good. He keeps wishing he was me. Yes, he does. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Starting to hot up now, guys. Starting to hot up, isn't it? Ha! Ha! Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Twitter is now closed for the rest of the show. I cannot see your tweets. I cannot read your tweets. If you've got something to say, you got beef with the way I do this show, if you're unhappy with the direction it's going, call up, guys. Call up. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Loads of people, really big audience on Periscope tonight. If you want to take part, 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome. Twitter really is a strange beast, isn't it? And I do wonder, when will they pull the plug on it? When will they realise that actually, they say, don't they, that sat-navs melt our brain a little bit because it stops us thinking. So the neural pathways that are created when we read a map or we plot a journey by looking at pictures or using gut instinct or the sun or guesswork or taking a punt, those neural pathways never get constructed. So by using sat-navs, we're becoming dumb. We're becoming actually dumb and stupid. We're losing skills. There is no skill in sticking your phone in a holster and typing in a postcode. There's no skill. There is a skill in getting an address and finding an atlas and going through and working at. There's a skill in that. There's no skill in typing in some numbers and letters into your phone and following a blue arrow. If you use a sat-nav, well, you're dumb. You're stupid. We need to make these things illegal. This is what I would do, right? If I were Prime Minister, forget the Brexit and all that. Do all that. That's fine. Here's what I do to stop us being a nation of idiots. I'd ban sat-navs. Okay? If you're going to travel by car, you've got two options. You either plan your route using a map, and you have the person sat next to you reading the map, or maybe you make notes, or you just take a punt. You point the car in the direction you think you want to go, and you just head off. No one goes for like a drive to get lost anymore. No one does it. No one does it because you're all stupid. I don't use a sat-nav. Don't use a sat-nav. There's no point because I'm not an idiot. I don't want my brain melted by losing skills. I've got a map. What I tend to do more often, though, is I just get in my car and go, right, well, London's that way. Wales is that way. Where am I going? Up there a little bit. And I'll kind of take a drive and take a punt. It makes life so much more exciting that way. So much more exciting, that little element of danger. You don't quite know what's going to happen. Wonderful. Isn't it? Isn't it brilliant? If you use a sat-nav, if you plug your phone into a holster on the windscreen, well, you're just asking for trouble. You're an idiot. You're literally an idiot. And if you've got kids and they're watching you using a sat-nav, what a terrible example to set to them. Ady Bob, you've just called back in. What's wrong? He's gone. Okay. He wants to talk to Catherine. He wants to pass a message on. That's not how it works. We're not a P.O. Box number service. We are a phone-in show. That's how it works. Tony, are you an idiot? Tony?
Hello?
Yes. Are you an idiot?
No.
Do you use a sat-nav?
I used one once.
What happened? Tony? Tony?
Can you hear me?
You're cutting in and out, Tony.
All right, I'm going to phone back.
Thanks very much for calling. We do have a very strict rule of no double bubble. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we can bend the rule there. I don't know. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. So I would ban sat-navs. I would ban them because they make us stupid, right? And I don't want my kids to be stupid, right? And Twitter does the same thing. Twitter has the same impact on the brain. It makes us stupid. Someone asked me today, why do I delete all my tweets? I delete my tweets every day, sometimes twice a day. Because it's refreshing. Because it's wonderful. Because it's spring cleaning. It's like cleaning up, tidying my office desk. At the end of the day, I tidy up all my junk from the studio. Got papers and a lamp and a lava lamp and a computer and my diary and a hard drive. At the end of the day, the end of the show, I tidy all of those things up and I put them in a bag. And it's the same with Twitter. I delete all of those these tweets. I delete them. One day I'll be brave enough to step away from Twitter completely. What Twitter does is it creates a real sense of self-importance that is misplaced. It creates a sense of entitlement where people think that because they can see you on Twitter, then they should be able to touch you and talk to you and ask you anything. And if you don't answer it immediately, then you're a complete tosser. And if you disagree with someone on Twitter, well, then you're a tosser. And if you block someone, that's a moral victory. That means you can't stand up to an argument. Well, actually, it means I'm really bored of you. I'm really bored of you and your stupid, dumb, entitled points that you're making. It's a real sense of entitlement, and I've noticed it around this show, and I've noticed it with people that contact this show via Twitter, which is why one of the reasons I'm ignoring Twitter during the show, is there's a real sense of, look at me, Ian, I'm sending you a tweet. I must be important. I'm sending you He's not reading my tweet out. He's not replying to my tweet in the way that I would like him to do. Twitter makes you dumb, makes you stupid, makes you entitled, makes you think you are important to people to whom you are not important. The number of you listening that I've muted on Twitter because I'm not interested. Now, some of you will take offence at that. Some of you will get angry at that. But I'm not interested. Not interested. So I've muted lots of you. Don't email me asking me if you've been muted because that just gets awkward. Twitter, I think, is probably the worst thing that's happened to humankind in the last 100 years. I can't think of anything that has had a more negative impact on people and society than Twitter. It's awful. Makes you dumb. If you get all of your news from Twitter, you're dumb. If you use a sat-nav, you are dumb. 0344 499 1000. Tony, I've got no idea what happened there. But it keeps going to voicemail, I'm being told, when we try to call her back. Oh, well. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Right, let's try Tony again. Good evening, Tony.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Kind of.
Can you hear me now?
What on earth is wrong with your telephone?
I live in Cornwall.
Right. What on earth is wrong with your telephone?
I don't know. The weird thing, I just phoned you from... you phoned me back on another phone.
Right. It keeps dropping out again.
I know. Well, as I said, I live in Cornwall.
Well, I don't quite understand what that's got to do with it.
Because what happens is the television signal drops out. It's not. We don't live in that London.
Well, no, but I've been to places outside of London and been able to make a phone call.
Well, I moved from Slough, High Wycombe, and I could always make a call there. But then for the last 10 years,
very good signals in High Wycombe.
I've moved to Cornwall.
High Wycombe has got an excellent record for phone calls.
Exactly.
What have you called in for, Tony?
Well, I haven't spoken to you for a while, and I literally was just calling in to say hello. How are you? What have you been up to? What's been going on?
I've been working.
Okay. So I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't been listening to the radio so much in the last few months, so you might just fill me in with what's been going on.
What, with every show that's been on that you've missed?
Not every show I've missed, but I do remember there was a show, when I listened not too long ago, you did say that you would like the element of people just phoning in and having a conversation.
Yeah. But you want me to do all the work?
No, I'll do some of the work.
Go on then. You start it, and I'll jump in when I see a space.
Okay. So it was before Christmas. It was quite a friendly show. Good show, lovely show, always nice show. But then I remember you did the sort of going for it nasty shows, what you called them.
I did one mean show, yes.
Mean show?
Yeah, one.
Has that had any repercussions?
No.
No.
Well, like, what repercussions would there be from me doing a show? I got paid.
Because people are mean, aren't they?
Sorry?
And because people are mean. So as a result of one mean, it might have gone on that it sort of an escalation effect.
No.
But that hasn't been the case.
No. Tony, your phone line is awful. Let's go to Julie. Evening, Julie.
Good evening, Ian.
Good evening, Julie.
I thought I'd phone up and tell you how to do your job.
Thank
not really.
you. Yes, this is one of the everyone on Twitter knows how to do everyone else's job so much better.
I know, right?
But they won't phone up and say I'm rubbish, but they'll tweet me. Cowards. If you think I'm rubbish, 0344 499 1000. Don't tweet me, you coward. You're probably muted anyway.
They can turn it off, can't they?
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually phoning up to say that you were saying about the pitfalls of Twitter, the demon devil that it is. But I was going to say that I learned on Twitter about the podcast, which I know that you were tipped off about, and that's S-Town.
S-Town is... Well, you would have found it eventually without Twitter.
I'm sure I would. But I wanted to... no, you know, sometimes... Or you used to do the film ring.
Yes.
Oh no! It's just, do you know what? As I'm saying it, I think it's a stupid idea. I just wondered if I just really enjoyed it. I listened to the whole S-Town podcast in a
no spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers. But I just wondered if maybe you wanted to do a pod ring or something. I just found it a really enjoyable podcast.
Going to ask the gentleman who made it if he would like to come on the show, but
Brilliant.
I suspect because he also does a thing called This American Life, which apparently
That's
is
right.
which I've never heard, which is huge. I didn't listen to
Yeah.
Serial either, so I would imagine that he is either too busy or would not be interested in coming on a little piddly show like this. But when I've finished S-Town, I will see if I can find an email address and I will invite him on. Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's good. I don't really listen to podcasts because I like listening to the radio or CDs. That's I'm still quite traditional in that sense. But yeah, it is. It's a cracking little show.
Yeah, it's.
But you would have. I can't think of one good thing that's come out of Twitter. Maybe we'll do this tomorrow. Right? I can't think of one good thing that's come out of Twitter that couldn't have come out of something else.
Well, I've met people through, for example, liking the same podcasts and things. And also, do you remember when you did we used to Love Scope? No, what was it called? Where you used to go into somebody else's Periscope.
Yeah.
We used to. You went into a quiz once.
Yeah.
And I then became an avid music quiz.
But that's Periscope. That's not Twitter.
But that's as a result. Oh, you're right.
Thank you.
Damn it!
This is what we'll do, Kath. Remind me tomorrow. We'll do this tomorrow. We've got Joe McGrath coming in, the film director, in the first hour. I want to know when Peter Sellers punched him in the face. But after that, we'll do it. No one will be able to answer this. One good thing that has come out of Twitter that couldn't have happened with something else. Because the more I think about it, the more I genuinely believe that Twitter they should switch it off. It was an experiment. And it failed. It brings out the worst in people.
It certainly does.
And it melts our brains. We are dumb because of Twitter. And I'm fighting back. I'm fighting back by deleting my tweets every day, by trying, and it's difficult because it's addictive, you know, it's once you've tasted crack, it's hard not to want to taste more crack. It's addictive.
So Moorish.
Yeah, it's so Moorish. I am trying to disengage from people on Twitter, and they don't like it. You heard that last gentleman, you know, the gentleman before the top of the hour.
Absolutely.
Didn't like it. I didn't want to be involved in that conversation. And there is such a sense of entitlement. Well, why didn't you reply to my tweet? Why are you asking me to stop? No one respects anybody's privacy on Twitter.
Correct. You're absolutely right. I think it's kind of when you see people, in public personas or whatever, and they're tweeting. I think people feel that they are on the. I don't know, that they can relate to them as if they were, I don't know, mates down the pub or something, which just isn't true. It's not right.
No. We'll and Interstellar AD Bob has tweeted me.
Oh no!
Not about what that conversation, but about something else. You know.
See, I could tell that he was trying to apologise, but if you say to somebody, "Don't involve me," it means don't involve me.
Well, Twitter has everyone is accessible to everyone else, and that is wrong. Yeah. That is wrong. We have not evolved to be that way. And and Julie, if you're not as interested in this thing as I am, you're wrong, and you should be interested, and you will keep listening. No, I am telling you that what I am saying now is really important, and you should be interested. Why won't you retweet this thing about a missing soldier? Why won't you retweet this link about people get really annoyed? I never retweet sponsored things missing. I never do it. I've made a decision years ago. Never.
Well, you're doing it all the time, otherwise.
Yeah, never. If I do one, I've got to do all of them. And no, I won't. And people say the arrogance of you not to retweet for a sponsored thing to get a wheelchair for a toddler. But no. But surely the more important thing would be. I don't think that by me retweeting, you're actually going to get a wheelchair for a toddler. So no, I've made a decision not to retweet those things.
The guy who phoned up before to apologise, he wanted to apologise so that you saw his point of view, but the whole point is he was doing it because he was trying to justify why he'd done it, whereas really he was only justifying it for himself, I suppose.
Well, tomorrow's show from 10. No, from 11, because we've got Joe for the first hour. From 11, we'll reach a conclusion. I challenge anybody to phone in and give me one good thing about Twitter that you can't get from something much more healthier. That's the challenge tomorrow. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks.
There we go. We'll do that tomorrow. That'll be fun. There won't be anything. Okay, I've met Matt Haig because of Twitter. Well, I probably would have ended up in fact, I did read The Humans before I'd even seen Matt on Twitter. But I got bought it because it was a good book. So I was aware of Matt before Twitter. I probably would have read Reasons to Stay Alive. And had I felt so minded, I might have sent a letter to the publishers. And he might have replied. So that would have happened. We'd certainly have got him on as a guest. Anyway, reached out to him via his agent or via his publishers to come on as a guest. So that doesn't count. Can't do it. I can't think of one good. This is tomorrow's show. This will be fun. You want topics? I'll give you topics. Tomorrow we will try and get to the bottom of this. I've got this croaky voice, and I don't know why. I've had it for weeks. I, of course, think it's cancer. It's not me being frivolous. I do croaky voice for weeks. Must be cancer. Tomorrow, and we'll do it on the telephones. No tweeting in with your answers, guys, because that would be pointless. Have a think about it. You've got a few hours to have a little think about it, to let me know if you can come up. You won't be able to. All it's done is bring anger and bullying and fear and resentment and entitlement and depression and did I say anxiety and addiction into our pockets. That's all it's done. We need a bold leader, a brave prime minister. Forget all the trivial stuff, like leaving the European Union, right? And trade deals with America. Forget that. You want a prime minister, you want a politician who will stand up and say, when I become prime minister, I will switch off Twitter. We won't have it anymore. And honestly, it will sound terrifying. It's like saying to a junkie, I'm going to lock you in a room, and I'm going to I know where your stash is. I know where all your stashes are. You've got some under the mattress. You've got some in your shoe, some in your sock drawer. There's some in that little I'm going to get rid of it. And the panic and the fear and the sweats start to kick in. But honestly, you're better without it. You're better without cocaine. You're better without crack. You're better off without heroin. And you're better off without Twitter. You don't need it. You don't need it. You're better than that. Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. That'll be fun. I didn't get to go through any of the papers, which is a shame, because there were some good stories in the papers. Some really good stories. My favourite, let me go, indulge me for 30 seconds. I'll give you my favourite. Oh, no, where is it? No, don't tell me it's gone. Don't tell me I wrote it down wrong. Oh, no, guys. Where's that gone? How have I done that? Oh, I know why. Got the wrong paper, look. Got the wrong paper. Hang on. It's a great headline in the Star. Donut-crazed seagull nearly ate my finger. Birds terror raid on boy. A boy munching on a donut was left in agony when a huge seagull swooped on him and gorged on his finger. Thomas West, 7, was on a family day out when he was attacked in the street. 4 more birds with 3-foot wingspans then joined in the ferocious assault. The boy was left covered in blood after the shock attack in Plymouth. Dad Gary, who beat away the beasts, said he had blood all over his hand and his donut was on the floor. It was terrifying. The donut was on the floor, guys. It was terrifying. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Interestingly, we haven't got time to address this. People on Twitter and Facebook going, if Iain doesn't like Twitter so much, he should just get off it. Yeah, get off Twitter, Iain. No. I know what my mission in life is. It's to save you from Twitter. We'll do it tomorrow. Right. We've had some cracking guests, and I don't mean that lightly. And lots of you said, "Oh, I wasn't looking forward to the Nicholas Parsons," but what a brilliant interview! Exactly. I think that the interviews that we do on this show are kind of unique. And I think this Tarby one is another one of those. It's a cracker. He's about to do a tour with Des O'Connor. They're going to do a series of shows, so we kind of got him on to talk about that and talked about all other bits and pieces. And boy, oh boy, does he drop some names in there. I mean, and what just blew my mind with some of the stuff. So sit back, relax, enjoy me having a chat with Jimmy Tarbuck. Jimmy, honestly, this is such a thrill to talk to you. I flipping love you, man. I really do. I grew up, my kind of first memory of you was on that brilliant show, Winner Takes All.
Oh, yeah, that was done up in Yorkshire Television.
That was a fantastic programme. You know, really, quizzes these days, I think, are too complicated and too involved. And that was just I'll have 5 to 1. It was, was it a lot of fun to do, Jim?
Well, a lot of fun, but what made me laugh, that years later, all the so-called comedians of the day criticised me for doing a quiz show. Now they're all on them.
It's funny, isn't it? Because there was we've had a lot of guests from your era on. We've had Tommy Cannon and Bernie Clifton and all these kind of people. And there was a period where, and I was probably guilty of it myself, if I'm completely honest, where it became very easy to knock that style of entertainer. And now, as a bloke in my mid-40s, I've got nothing but respect for you guys, because you were trailblazers, you set the scene, and you did some groundbreaking stuff.
Well, I was the first one they took out of the clubs and put on mainstream television.
Yeah.
And it was lovely and very exciting. And I know that one week I was on Bernard Manning's club in Manchester, And then the next week, they put me on Sunday night at the Palladium.
Wow.
And in those days, of course, you didn't get the choice that you've got today. There was ITV or BBC One.
Yeah, that was it.
And so he got like 20 million viewers or more. And they were heady days, and it was just very, very, very exciting I was 22, and so it was lovely.
Did your life change overnight then? You know, but from working in the clubs for years to doing that TV show, was it a sudden transformation?
Because of one show. On October the 27th, 1963, they put me on the Palladium, and then it all changed, and I thought it was going to last 5 minutes and not 50-odd years. And I don't know why, Ian, and I don't ask why, because the great Eric Morecambe, one of my heroes, he just said to me we were walking on the finale of a Royal show in 64, and he said, "You've got something, don't go looking for it."
And that's it. You know, we have this term that's bandied around now, and it's associated with a talent show, the X Factor. But it is something that is completely undefinable. And you're right. You have it. Eric Morecambe has it. You know, these people have it. And isn't it funny? You know, 50 years later, and you're still packing them in. You've got this tour you're doing with Des O'Connor. What kind of places are you playing with that?
Well, Blackpool Opera House, Newcastle, Torquay, and it's lovely because he's a pro.
Yeah.
And he's very easy to work with, and we just have a lot of fun.
How's the show, if I come along, how's it going to work? Do you do kind of a half each, or are you on together? Yeah. What's the format?
Well, the music goes, and they say, and the show is direct from the Palladium, which is the most famous theatre in the world. Des O'Connor and Jim, and we walk on, and the audiences have been sensational.
Yeah.
We do 10 minutes at the top, then I do an hour, then there's an interval, and I go on and introduce Des, he does an hour, and then we have 10 minutes at the end where anything can happen. A lot of fun.
You must still enjoy it, Jimmy, you must still love it.
Only thing I don't like about it is the travelling.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that a lot. That, you know, I heard someone say that they do the concerts for free. It's the travelling they get paid for.
Well, I mean, this is a fact. I mean, I don't care. Where are you now? Where am I speaking to?
We're in South London. We're in Waterloo.
Now, I wouldn't know how long I'd allow.
Yeah.
To get to you now because of the traffic. But I mean, that apart, the work is just it's a lot of fun.
I've been lucky enough to see you. I saw you, and it was. I'm going to say about 6-7 years ago at the Royal Albert Hall. There was an evening, a tribute to Dusty Springfield.
Oh yeah,
that was a great night. And of course, you knew. You were speaking from experience because you knew all those bands in the 60s, didn't you? Because the comedy and the music circuit, you were all working with them all.
Well, I mean, it all. You know, I mean, including Dusty now. It just all splashed out with the Beatles. All of a sudden, youth had taken over, and she was a much better singer, you know, than she's ever given credit for.
Oh, I was listening to Dusty in Memphis the other day. That album,
that's one hell of an album.
Man alive, what a voice.
You know, and she was a great girl. I mean, she's a fun girl. She got very nervous before she went on, and she always did. She got a bit of stage fright, but... good fun and, I mean, a good laugh.
Yeah.
You know, she'd like a giggle, and there was a few of them then. Scylla herself.
Yeah, of course.
Dusty, Lulu, who's still knocking them out now. A lot of the girls from those days were just, you know, real singers and what people wanted to hear.
How did you get started, Jim? What did your family do, and why did you decide to do comedy?
Well, my mum was was a dancer. My dad was a bookie.
Right.
And my dad loved comics, and we used to go to the theatre in Liverpool once a week. He'd take us. And he never told me this night. I was about 11 or 12. And Mother said, get washed, put your blazer on, we're going. And I go to the theatre. And he never told me who was on, and I was sat there. And I can't do the actual music, but it went something like, dun, dun, dun.
Oh.
da-dun, da-da-da.
No.
Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, Jimmy, no, really?
And I couldn't believe it. I said, Dad, they're here. And I ran down the aisle to the end to just look up at them.
God.
And the fat guy just waved his tie, went, hello. And that struck with me because I love them. Absolutely love them.
Oh, you can't. I've got two boys, Jimmy, who are 7 and 5, and I mean, some of those Laurel and Hardy films are 100 years old, and we sit there still laughing today. For me, comedy doesn't get any better than those two.
Well, I mean, you show that one of them delivering the piano. And you're on the floor.
Yeah, it's delicious. And you actually got to see them live. How old were you?
Live. Never got the chance of working with them, which I'd have absolutely loved, because I adored them.
And did that plant the seed for you, Jimmy? Did you think, I want some of that?
I just love the drug of laughter. And it is a drug. I mean, and I can't describe the feeling to you when people laugh. And the biggest laughs I've ever heard in any theatre now, Ken Dodd.
Yeah.
He doesn't get laughs, he gets roars of laughter.
We had, it keeps coming back to Doddy, and I've never seen him live, and I must try and get tickets, because we had, a fella call up the other day, and he said that he'd bought his mum and dad's tickets to see Doddy as a wedding anniversary present, and he said he expected them home about 11 o'clock.
Oh, don't even tell me.
No, and then 12 o'clock. They rolled in about 3 o'clock in the morning. He did 5 hours.
My grandmother went to see him, we lost her.
This is what I'm thinking. You're only doing an hour, Jimmy. Doddy's doing 5 hours. And he still does it.
He's stage struck.
And people still love it, don't they? Which is wonderful.
I said he's 80 odd now. I said, why do you do so long? He said, well, young man, it doesn't seem like it to me. And he loves it when he's on there, and it's he is the best stage comedian we've ever had, and it was very fitting that he got a knighthood.
Yeah, it was wonderful to see him being recognised like that. Did you do much work with the Beatles? You did quite a bit, didn't you?
Well, I went to Dovedale Road School, and the two of them were in there. John Lennon, principally, but 2 years beneath us because of age thing. George Harrison was in there as well.
Yeah.
And his brother was in our class, but Lennon was they always had an answer. I remember the teacher said, Lennon, you're late. He says, what time is it? He said, it's 9:20. He said, well, you're late as well, aren't you? Well, the whole class just roared laughing.
You were in the same class as him?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, yes, he was a guy about Liverpool, used to see him. As you know, he was a very good artist, very good writer. And, he died that tragic death.
Well, both him and George, gone way too soon, way too soon.
Well, there's too many of them lately. Scylla.
Yeah, of course.
Howie. I mean, my side of the business, Wogan, Ronnie Corbett, you go, oh, bless us, who's going next?
Yeah. It is sad, isn't it? Which is why I've got this theory. The thing I've learnt from 2016, Jim, is if there are people, artists, singers, actors, whatever, comedians that we love, we should tell them now, because it's all well and good, having a day playing David Bowie's music or, showing the best of Wogan, but let's do these things while people are still alive.
Listen, I'm with you, man. I mean, when they can enjoy the plaudits.
Yeah, exactly.
I think your programmes, I'm not teaching you to suck eggs, but I think they should have had a day for Chuck Berry records.
Yeah.
He did influence everybody in the rock and roll industry.
Yeah. Oh, he invented it, he invented everything. He's the reason that we've got pop and rock these days.
Any gig I've been to, and there's been a party afterwards with a few faces, and the guitar playing faces, like Eric Clapton, Justin Hayward, Joe Wall, all the good players.
Yeah.
I've not been to one where I haven't heard the riff for Johnny B. Good.
Yeah.
And they just play it and everyone goes in.
Everyone knows it. Even if they think they don't know it, everyone knows the words to Johnny B. Good.
As he said, way down in Louisiana, back in New Orleans.
Yeah, the birthplace of it. You've had a good life, Jimmy. You've got a brilliant family, and you've got a wonderful daughter, of course, Lisa. You must be dead proud of her.
I'm very proud of her. And every now and then I I hinted a record for her to play, and she plays it, and we chuckle.
Hang on a second.
The last one was a lovely Tony Bennett song, and the record is an old record. It's The Very Thought of You. And there's a most wonderful trumpet played on it, and I just stick that on when you want to calm the show down with a nice one. As you go, you can't play it full blast all the time with Elvis, Chuck Berry, and the Beatles. And you got to have a slowie in there.
Yeah.
And so you pick Sinatra or Tony Bennett or the greatest singer in my time in show business from our little island, Tom Jones.
Yeah, and there's another one who's still going. It really is incredible that so many artists, music and comedians, that kind of started in the 60s or at least became prominent in the 60s, they are still going. And it's such a thrill for me, because I've taken my boys to see the Beach Boys, and we might go and see the Zombies, and
sure.
It's such a thrill to see all these 50th anniversaries taking place, and the people are still here, and they're still going out, which is why when I saw the poster for you and Des, and I noticed it's directed by Kevin Bishop, a lad that I worked with a couple of times. I was so thrilled to see the two of you going out there and doing it and playing really beautiful venues as well. And, it sounds like it's going down a treat.
Well, it all started with a charity night at the Palladium.
Right.
And it sold out. And then we said, I really enjoyed that. I said, so do I. And we both just looked at each other. He said, I know what you're thinking. I said, I know what you're thinking. You want to do a few of these? He said, yep. I said, me too. And we just have a ball.
Have you ever thought, Jim, because, it's a big tour and you're playing big shows. Have you ever thought in the 70s or in the 80s or in the 90s, they won't want me next year? They won't want me next year? Or has it just been a constant, your diary's booked up?
Well, I think it would be a case of you tick each year that goes by and you think, hey, that was good. And you think, well, I've had a real good run. They've been great. And all of a sudden they said, look, this year, starting in about 6 weeks' time, I'm doing 20 concerts.
Flipping heck.
And you go, oh, hang on, I don't want no more. I'm a little old man now, but do I enjoy it? I absolutely love it.
Brilliant. Jimmy?
And the thrills I've had and the people that I've been paid to go around the world and make people laugh.
Did you ever play Vegas?
Yes.
Did you? When was that?
70s.
How did that go down?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
But they wanted me to stay there.
Yeah.
I went over and did the Mike Douglas show and a Jackie Gleason birthday show.
Wow.
And then I went back in 1980 with Bob Hope and did this show for President Jerry Ford.
Yeah.
And they said, look, you want to stay over here for a couple of years? I said, well, no, I can't for a couple of years. You can't just say, yeah, I'm staying for 2 years. But did I enjoy it over there? Yes. Did I enjoy Australia? Yes.
Yeah.
And all the places I've been. And of course, I have to bring this up, not to bore people, and I've played golf in all these places, which I love doing.
Did you play a round of golf with Bob Hope?
Many times.
Wow. Because Bob Hope, when I was a kid, it was Laurel and Hardy, but I loved those Hope and Crosby films as well. Oh, I loved them. What was he like as a person?
Nice man.
Yeah?
Crosby was the better golfer.
Did you play with Crosby as well?
Yes, I played with both of them. He loved golf.
Yeah.
He was very wit he had. He was... and he said something funny to me today that I would pass on to some of the younger comics without them going, oh. He said, give them the first 2 minutes to look at your suit. Meaning he always went on very well dressed. And I try to, my generation, Bruce and all those, little Ronnie, always went on looking smart.
Yeah.
And I think that's right. I don't think they want to see you walking on looking like a bag of spanners.
Yeah. And brilliant news about Bruce Forsyth. He's on the mend.
Yes, he is. God bless him.
Which is great.
I spoke to him this evening.
Is he all right?
He's fine. He's getting there.
Good lad. Excellent.
He hasn't been well, and he had a fall, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that knocks it out of you when you're a young guy.
Yeah.
But you got to know, for 50-odd years, people have thought, Bruce Forsyth was 35 years of age. That's so much energy, and what a career. Well, I think he's our best all-round entertainer, certainly of my time in show business.
Well, he could do everything. The game show, the singing, the dancing, again, when I was a kid in the 70s, there was nothing funnier than watching him getting all flustered on the Generation Game. Literally
exactly.
Rolling on the floor laughing at it.
And then you see him sit in the piano and play something lovely.
Yep.
You know, I mean, just one of ours. The two best I've seen over here for talent of ours would be Roy Castle and Bruce.
Roy Castle, yeah.
Best ever I've seen, Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
For strict talent.
I mean, that Sammy Davis Jr.'s voice, and just the coolness of him. You know, you watch a clip of him, you think, man, that's just cool.
Well, he was just a cool dude, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he just was.
Jim, listen, I'm going to let you go. Honestly, the 15-year-old me is so excited, and 43-year-old me is so excited to talk to you, and I'm really thrilled that you're doing this show with Des O'Connor.
Thank you.
And I wish you nothing but the best of success with it, mate, and let's hope we're talking in another 5 years' time.
Well, I would love that. Now, I'm going to spring this on you.
Uh-oh.
Do you play requests?
Jimmy, I would do anything for you. What do you want?
Send us some money. I'll tell you what I'll have, because I've gone on about him. Well, when's the show going out?
This will go out one night this week. I'm not sure what night it'll be yet, but it'll be one night this week.
Well, let's do one, because he just changed music.
Yep.
Stick Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good.
Mate, it's the very, very least I can do for you, Jimmy. We'll give that a whirl. Thank you so much for your time, mate. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure to talk to you, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, Jimmy. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Bless.
Radio.
Join the Talk Nation.
Pick up your phone and talk radio.
We'll get you talking.